Welcome back, guys. Take a look at FSMAX, Fidelity's Extended Market Index Fund. This is an interesting fund because it's stocks that are outside of the S&P 500, so it's a good way to diversify your portfolio. So taking a quick look at the snapshot here, it's a mid-cap blend. It has small and mid-cap stocks, and its expense ratio is very low, 0.035%. Let's break down the composition just so you can get an idea of what we are investing in. When you look at the fund overview, it seeks to provide investment in mid to small capitalization U.S. state companies only. So you are investing only in the United States. It invests 80% of its assets in the Dow Jones U.S. Completion Total Stock Market Index. So when you are investing in something like this, you are trying to diversify and get away from the S&P 500. You can see in the composition here, scrolling to the major sectors here, you have financials leads the pack at 17.96%, technology 17%, industrial 17%, consumer discretionary 11%, healthcare 11%, real estate 5%, materials 4%. Now, looking at the equity style map here, you have small and mid cap. It's all a blend of just growth. And what it does is it only invests in companies that are below 2 billion in market cap. Now, when you look at it, there are no international markets. You have 0.31%. So you're really just getting a U.S. domestic small mid-cap diversification. The thing I like about this is you have 3,500 companies that you are investing in, and the top 10 only make up 8% of the total portfolio. So you're getting 3,500 small to mid-cap companies, giving you a nice diversification in the United States. It's a good way to diversify against the S&P 500. And what's big about this, if you look here, the fund inception, it has been around since 1997, so we can really see how it's performed. Let's take a look at that real quick. Looking at the performance here, let's just go right to the life of it. The life of the fund is 8.76%, which has outperformed the Dow Jones U.S. Completion Total Stock Market. In the last year, it did 25% gains, 8% over 3 years, but averages about 8.76 over the life of it. Now, looking at the ratings, you can see over 10 years, 3 stars out of 5. And then looking at the fees and distributions, a nominal fee of 35 cents for every $1,000 invested at a 0.035% expense ratio, so not bad. You do get a little bit of a dividend. Dividend history is annually, as you can see, 2022, 23, 24. Earning 44 cents, 83 cents, it varies. And then you have the capital gains history as well that you will gain on this once a year as well. There is no initial investment. So just to recap the Fidelity Extended Market Index, the investment approach, what it does is it tracks the Dow Jones U.S. Completion Total Stock Market. At least 80% of the funds go through this, and that gives you the diversification to the small and mid-cap equity strategy that allows you to diversify your investment and not be in the S&P 500 large cap. Now let's just take a quick look and look at the comparisons comparing FSMAX, the Extended Market Index Fund that we just reviewed, to the Fidelity Midcap Index Fund, FSMDX, versus FSSNX. For those of you who don't know, this is the Midcap Index Fund, strictly midcap, and FSSNX is strictly small cap. So let's just compare the life of the fund if you were trying to choose between picking a small cap and a mid cap, or just choose FSMAX and just have it all in one. So if you look here, look at the life of the fund, FSMAX has underperformed compared to its competitors, where FSMDX, the mid cap, has performed 12%, and FSSNX has performed 10.94%. So it's definitely interesting to compare. If you just want the lazy, hands-off approach, you could just go with FSMAX and get that exposure to small and mid-cap companies. But if you think that, mid-caps are going to outperform and you want a dollar cost average more into this, that's something you could consider. Or if you think small caps are going to perform well, you could add more to this fund as well. The expense ratios are very similar, 0.035% versus 0.025%, so not that much of a difference. Looking at the 1 year chart right now, it does look like FSMAX is outperforming currently. But when you look at the 10-year, you can see that both FSMAX and the mid-cap FSMDX are outperforming FSSNX, the small cap. So over the long term, mid-caps are outperforming small cap currently at this moment. You can also see the management and fees. There is no minimum investment for all of them, it is $0. So that is nice to see. And you just have that expense ratio of 0.01% more if you just want to have both of them in there. When you look at the risk, they're both in the higher categories because the small cap stocks are going to be more risky, but if you hold them long term, you can definitely get good gains out of it. That sums up the video for today. Check out the channel Trading Simplified. You can check out the playlist as well. If you like that, check out the Fidelity Mastering Fidelity Index Funds, ETFs, and Investments, where we go over all different funds for you. There's also a bunch more here, so definitely check that out. If you're interested in the WAP, check out the link here. Click right here in the description.